Committee, and I know you serve on appropriations. You come from Middle America in Iowa. What we have found, just at the very beginning, you had a first hearing, which I thought was very good. Maybe if you could talk a little bit about what are some of the goals or what are some of the areas that this select committee would be working on and working towards?
Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for appointing me to this very important committee. I think it goes without saying, but you agree that China is one of the greatest threats facing our country. I believe it's the issue of my generation and of many generations, because if we don't take action right now, the next century will not be an American one. It will be one dominated by China. It is very clear that the Chinese have a plan, right? By 2049, they want to be the preeminent world power for the economy, for our military, and for their social plan. So that's what they want. That's what the roadmap is that they've laid out. So I think it's imperative that we lay out our roadmap of what that next American century looks like, but also lay out a plan to hold them accountable for, let's say, the human rights atrocities that they continue to perpetrate. And if you did watch our first hearing, you would have seen Tong Yi, a former dissident or a dissident who was actually imprisoned in a camp, tell her story of what she faced when she did speak out in China, and what the Chinese people are facing every single day. They're being oppressed, and we need to highlight that. The other issue that I think is important, we need to make sure that we don't allow a single cent of taxpayer money to go to China. This is money that they continue to use against us. Every cent that goes there, they're using it against us, whether it's to spy on us or whether it's to enrich their military or to continue to perpetrate those human rights abuses. Then you talk about the theft, right? And Speaker McCarthy kind of hit on this, where we've lost jobs, we've lost intellectual property to China. We have ceded that authority because we've been appeasing China for so long instead of competing with China. So we need to highlight those instances where they have cheated, right? They don't follow the rules. Being from Iowa, we have a unique situation where we actually had a spy ring that was busted in the middle of Iowa. They were trying to steal our seeds so that they could take them back to China to reverse engineer them. So they don't want to play by the rules. This is a true national security issue for us, and again, the policy that we're going to work on in the next 10 years in a bipartisan way, which I think is really crucial here. You saw a lot of consensus under Chairman Gallagher and obviously Representative Krishnamurthy, and you're going to see some really great policies come out of our committee to tackle all of those very important issues.
You know, you brought a very good point. A lot of people think China and they just think certain intellectual property they steal, but you're in Iowa, and food security and food safety is so important, especially around the world. Watching that they were caught there spying, trying to steal seeds to re-engineer that as well. So it's every part of the country, and that's why this committee is so important. One of the reasons why I appointed you, and I sat with Hakeem beforehand to show him the individuals that I would appoint to this, making the point from certain committees, very serious. And you just brought up the bipartisanship. Do you think we'll be able to carry this out in a bipartisan manner?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. And if you look at the membership on both sides of the aisle that are a part of this committee, and I think our first hearing was a great roadmap for how this committee is going to operate. We all have great ideas about, and unity here on how we're going to tackle China. I think we all understand the great purpose behind our committee, and if we don't take action, what's at stake. And so that, I think, is something you're going to see a lot of agreement on. The Speaker mentioned the bipartisan vote tally on the floor. I think that speaks to the unity behind this issue, that it's time to stop appeasing China and it's time to start competing with China.
Burgess, now, you have such a compelling personal story, and people would talk about, certain struggles, sports and others, but when you